Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Mike Plays RP1. This is the series in which I, as a veteran KSP player, but novice RP1 player, is doing my very best to get through the programs and contracts in the RP1 mod pack. A mod pack that turns Kerbal Space program into a much more realistic space simulator with historical contracts, realistic parts, and a real scale solar system. And what we're looking at here is the Explorer 10. Wow, the bare beginnings of an Explorer 10. This is a payload that I was working on in order to work towards completing this contract, the Magnetometry Satellite, which requires it to go into an orbit, to do magnetometer scans, survive for 45 days, yada yada yada, collect 75% of the magnetic scan that's in high Earth orbit. I already collected the magnetic scan stuff in low Earth orbit, but anyway, the big one is the orbit that it needs to be in. It needs to have a periapsis above 3,000 kilometers, so that's the lowest point in its orbit, and it needs to have an eccentricity of at least 0.75. So last episode, spent a little bit of time, worked out what that apoapsis needed to be in order to get the eccentricity that I need. 0.75 is reasonably elliptical. And began to work like a payload out towards that. Worked out a budget. I have a budget over here, what I need to get in low Earth orbit. What do I need in terms of meters per second to get the apoapsis up to 3,050 kilometers, 650 meters per second per that. That's to get the periapsis to where it needs to be. And then a second burn at, that would be at that new apoapsis to push the entire orbit, the altitude of the orbit, up to 60,000 kilometers. That would take 270 meters per second. The problem is I do not have any engines that are capable of relighting. Well, I do sort of, but they're pretty heavy. I don't want to get into them. So what I was thinking about is building like a sort of a two-stage rocket. First, we would have the two-stage payload. The rocket would take the payload up into LEO. Then I would do one burn, get it up to raise the altitude of the orbit up to 3,050 kilometers, and then get up to there, do the second burn on a second stage. And so I started to build just the first stage to do and I got the DV that I needed. There's 947. In fact, it's a little bit too much. It only needs to be 650. But where I started to run into the issues was with the electricity. And that is because this has a guidance system on it, because I figured it's something I'm going to need to control. And turns out that the guidance system consumes, for some reason it's changed. I thought it was over 100 before, but now it's 70 watts. Either way, 70 watts is a lot. Because my solar panels that I have so far, these are the best solar panels that I got, by the way, that I've unlocked thus far, only generate 10 watts. So I'm going to need to come up with a different solution, and I'm going to start working on that now. I got some ideas, so we'll get to that. In the meantime, I do have some other things going on in the Space Center. We can look over here. The Explorer 9, this is the one that's coming before this, is only 3 days away from being completed. The Explorer 9 is an attempt at the very least, a moon impact, or not very least a moon flyby, but I'm really going to be shooting for an impact. Hopefully I'll be able to do both. I do have contracts for that right here to do an impactor and a flyby. That I'll hopefully get to. Last episode as well, managed to get the impact in simulation mode. It remains to be seen whether I can do that when I do the mission for real. And by the way, I've been referring a lot to last episode. If you missed last episode, you can find a link to it up here towards the top right. Other things that are going on, well, research is always happening. I am in the process of hiring a whole pile of researchers. I also have, and this has been going on for a long time, it's more than half built now, but the Atlas 2/Gamma 8, a much, much bigger lifter capable of getting heavier payloads up into orbit. That's still not due for well, a little more than half a year. So we still got to wait on that, but progress is being made. Okay, so let's see if we can close some of these windows first of all, and let's get into a new idea for this. And my new idea is, well, if it's going to cost, you know, so much electricity, because remember, this thing has to live for 45 days. Right now, this thing will only live for 4 hours. If it's going to cost so much electricity to bring a guidance system all the way up and keep it around for 45 days, the best plan then, I think, is just to lose the guidance system. So here's what I'm thinking. Still go with the 2-stage payload, but only the second stage will have guidance. The second stage will do the 600... get this right, the 650. I'm not even thinking about this wrong. Yes, the top stage needs to have the 2700. Oh my god, I was way out to lunch as to what I was thinking. But anyway, the bottom stage will do this 650 meter per second burn, get it up to altitude, get the you know, the altitude of the orbit up over 3,000 kilometers. The second stage hangs on, and then use the guidance that's built into the second stage. It's got to live long enough to get up to that apoapsis. I'll have to work out exactly how long that needs to be. And then the final stage that will push it into its final orbit need not be guidance. The second stage can point it in the right direction, and then we can just fire and point it off in the direction. And the final satellite doesn't need to have all the guidance on it and all that electricity demand. And I'm really leaning towards making the top stage here an SRB again. It's just such a cheap way to get a pile of Delta V and just push things. So we're going to remove a lot of what I've been doing thus far and rethink about this whole top stage. And so we're gonna rejigify. Let's get rid of our budget for now. We're going to rejigify our avionics to just be a science core, and a basic science core, and that means that all it's going to do is you know, you can run science experiments, and that's all you need to worry about, and you don't need to worry about anything else. It also has telemetry and stuff in it, but it doesn't have any guidance systems. That's the stuff that's expensive. We'll put in, I don't know, 200 kilojoules of electric charge into it, and for now, we'll preserve the dimensions for now. I got a feeling this nose cone is going to get a lot smaller pretty soon. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just see, I'll get back into my little SRBs and see what can I get away with. Like, for instance, my personal favorite, the Baby Sergeant. What does that do for me? That is 879 meters per second of Delta V. Okay, that's cool. What if I went a little bit more than that? I remember, where's my budget again? I need to get it up to 2700 for the top stage. So I can get into, as you've been seeing if you've been following any of these, stacking these SRBs together works just great. So I can get my, this is now a cluster of 3 Baby Sergeants under it, so they would go one after the other, like so. That gets me 2,123 meters per second of Delta V. Okay, let's see if we can lower the mass of all this, because I still got to put on solar panels and crap too. Let's lower this diameter. You know what? I got a much better idea. Let's go new. I'm going to something that's not too dissimilar from what you've been seeing on so many of my Explorer satellites. This is the whole rocket, but if I take a look at just simply this payload bit, I'm really looking at something that's not too dissimilar from what we're looking at here. Let's say this is the new Explorer 10. There's no sense reinventing the wheel. There we go. And then we'll build something that can get this thing to where it needs to go. Overwrite the old Explorer 10, absolutely. Let's rejigify the science that's in here. So go configure science. We need the magnetometer, whatever it is. The magnetometer 1. Nothing else. That's the only science we need. There's not even a reason to put on the other ones, because they're already being all collected. There we go. And now I have something that, well, has perpetual electricity. Might be able to scale it down. And it has 2,967 meters per second of delta V. That's the kind of ballpark that I'm talking about. So then if I can just build a stage below this that could do the 650 meters per second of delta V, be guided, and point this thing in the right direction, I think I'm all good. Now I might be able to kind of scale this down a little bit. The solar panels are generating an estimated 9.46 watts. The avionics only takes 150 milliwatts. You can see how much better it is. The communications is 2 watts. Oh, I need to turn on the science experiment. That'll be more. And the science experiment is 6 watts. So actually, to be honest, this is really kind of pushing it, isn't it? It says perpetual, but if I get a little bit of, I mean, I'm already over 8 watts in what's being consumed. It only generates, and that's probably a best case scenario of 9.46 watts. But I can again rig this so that the comm system turns off if the electricity gets low. If it's in the dark, how long does she live? If it's in the dark, it'll live for 2 days. Oh my goodness. That's more than what I would need. Let's scale down the electricity. Configure here. Oh, I don't even have the best avionics on here. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's put in 200 kilojoules. Apply and preserve dimensions. This might have just upped the delta V a lot. It sure did. And now the avionics is only 100 milliwatts, still the other experiments, but I'm generating 41.7 watts from the solar panels. Are these the best solar panels I got? They are. Okay. Now I'm seriously over-generating here. Oh, wait, I'm in full sun. Okay, now it lasts for 6 hours. Almost 7 hours without the sun, and with the proper estimation of sun, 9.46 watts again, 8 watts. And then how much in the dark? It'll last for 6 hours in the dark. Let's give it a little bit more electric charge. Let's, in fact, double the electric. Let's go to 500 kilojoules of electric charge. DV doesn't see... Well, I haven't built the stage below it, so maybe DV is going to be a thing. Apply and preserve dimensions. Close. Okay. In the dark, it'll last now for 17 hours. I'm honestly thinking with the dark part as like, you know, if the electricity gets low... Yeah. How long will it transmit for? I think it's good. I think it's good. All right, so that's all good. If anything, it's a little bit too much DV. I want to bring the DV down to about 2700. Maybe the best plan might be just to reduce the amount of fuel in here into this first stage in particular. Or maybe just lose one of the... Maybe. The better plan is just losing... What if I lost this? That's 29. I'm sure I can't get away with losing the cluster of 11. Taking all this apart again. That goes there. That's full out. I'm thinking the best plan. What if I don't have the cluster of 3 in the mix? I'm just going with different kind of experimental ideas here. That's not enough. Oh wait, does this have the fuel that I took out? No, the fuel's all there. Alright, so here's what we're going to... I think the better plan then might be to keep the cluster of 3 and then the cluster of 11. That's 29. What about the single one? Did I try this? A single one with the 11 around it. All kinds of options. That won't work that way. Oh, I did try this. I know that. And that's not enough. Okay, so what we'll do... We'll lose the single. We'll go with a cluster of 3. And go like that. That's 2,900. What if we reduce, pin that, and just reduce a little bit the... I don't want the Apple Wapses to go... What is the... There is something in the contract about a maximum apogee. Apogee has to be below 250,000. Let me just do a quick calculation. 250,000. How much DV does it take to get to this 3,050 to 250,000? Yes. Oh, I understand. What's 25? I know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, just hang on a second. I gotta do some figuring here. No, that's... I start at 250 kilometers, get to 3,050. That takes 600. Then I go from... That's the circularize at 350. Then I want to go from 350 to 250,000. That'll be 600 plus. That's 3,130. So I gotta be a little careful. If I'm starting to get close to 3,130, let's close this. Of DV. See, if this gets over 3,130, that means I'll be getting my apogee above 250,000. I'm feeling this is a little bit... I'm going to keep it more like what I said in my budget. And let's reduce the amount of fuel in the 3-pack. See if that's a good way to sort of... I like that idea. It does make the TWRs like through the roof, but that's okay. So we're gonna lose this little 3-pack decoupler, and we're gonna lose this. And this now becomes the new top stage for my Explorer. Okay, so now what I need to do is build a stage below that that has guidance and has attitude control and has and has I can get my brain around it, and has 650 meters per second of DV in that stage. That's what I'm shooting for. So we'll get ourselves a decoupler. There we go. Maybe shrink the diameter a little bit to get them to kind of match. Shrink the vertical scale a little bit. And this will be hot stage too, so that's why I'm using the, what do you call that one, by the way? The hollow interstage. And we'll put an avionics core below that. Get the diameter of it, what will match all this. 856 looks good. This guy needs to be, again, basic avionics. It needs to be a near-Earth core. That is correct. What's my weight up to so far? Half a ton. Let's put in 1 ton of controllable mass. Might be able to bring that down. And let's put in 100 kilojoules of electric charge for now. We'll have to decide on that later. Apply and resize to fit. There we go. So that's our new avionics. I'll have to decide as well, like, how long it's got to live for. It might need to live for a little bit. Might need more electricity than that is what I'm saying. Okay, now what we're going to do is get ourselves a isogrid tank, because I'm pretty sure with the engine I have, I need to have it pressurized. And the balloon tanks, which are lighter, but they cannot be pressurized is the issue with them. And then we're going to go with what I was playing with before. And I may have to step it up, I don't know. But I was playing with thrusters and small engines. Nope. I got a lot of good ones coming. They're just still being researched. Groundlet engines aren't going to do me anything. These ones, these single ignition engines, we'll go with the good old Aerobee. And we will fill this for the Aerobee, and we'll see what this gets for us. Let's tweak our staging a smidge. Like to adjust the staging as we go. And right now, I'm looking at this stage here. I need this stage to be oich. Oich. Oh, I'm looking at the time, dummy. I needed to have a DV. You notice it says Atmo DV, but I got this slider up here at the very top, so it's actually the vacuum DV. I need that to be 670. Right? Right. 650. So I can scale this down quite a bit. That's good. So this guy's at a scale. What is the diameter there? 850. So we'll bring this to 850. And we'll just simply bring down the length. Now we still got to add on RCS and stuff, so I might need to scale this back up again pretty soon. Let's just put the length at 400 meters for now. And it has a TWR of 0.92. That's very encouraging, at least for me. That to me is something that I think is gonna work for us. Now I also need to have RCS in there. So we're going to put in another isogrid tank, because again this one has to be pressurized. Right there. There. Again, 850 on the diameter. And this really doesn't need to be much. We can really shrink her down. Or is that okay? Even that's probably too big. Let's put it at 50 millimeters. At least to give us something to click on. Oh, and it needs to be pressurized. There we go. And RCS blocks. And I'm hoping we can get away with just the small ones. Let's go with these for now. Put on 4. Where's the center of mass? These are not going to be, so these are for, yeah, and I don't need them up there. So down around there is a good spot for them. And they are going to be for, boop, boop. Just want to get the right configuration here. That's the ones I'm looking for. So this will be for attitude control, yaw, pitch, and roll. And, oops, for, I think I'm going to put them, I'll have to figure this out. But also for ullage. So I need them to point. I might think about this, but I also am going to need it for ullage for lighting this engine. And what am I up to for tonnage so far? I am up to 880 kilograms. Okay. Alright, so far so good. Let's put this in the dark and ask ourselves the question, how long is this going to live for? Now, the avionics should have no science aboard. Nope, no nothing. That's all good. I'm also going to click on, and do it right now, to mark this as debris. Set to debris, so that when this stage is gone, it's not going to think it's a ship. Oh, and I need to fill this tank for the RCS blocks. I don't know why. There it is. I was having trouble just clicking on it. Fill for the RCS blocks. Now, last time I did this, RCS build aid was a little bit confused. And it's still, I'm not quite sure. There's nitrogen in the tank. I've never had this before. I was just trying to figure out how much, how much DV of RCS propellant I have. But I'm getting that there's none. And I find that confusing, and it feels like I'm missing something, but I don't know what it might be. Let's save this. Let's open up a good old reliable, the Atlas 1. There it is, the good old Atlas Stentor rocket. This is the one that I've used a gazillion times. If we take off the bottom, I'm just checking to see, trying to figure out why. Oops, that's not what I want. I wanted to open up that so I can take this stage off. There we go. And now if I open up RCS build aid, RCS build aid isn't the least bit confused. So what is the difference here? Now I do have them right on the tanks, don't I? Oh, I might. Hang on. Let's go back. There. New again. Don't save this. And go back to that. Explore 10. I didn't configure the RCS blocks. Number 1. So that might be part of what I'm doing wrong. Those were on HTP. I have HTP. But I do have other options. I don't know. Let's do it for HTP then. Maybe that's what I should be able to do them for other propellants, but okay, and then I got to find that tank again. There's something very strange happening here. There it is. Okay. Remove the old tanks and fill this again for the RCS blocks. There we go. So now it's HTP and helium. Still very confused. Could it be where the blocks are placed, that they need to be like right on the tank? I've never had that. I don't think I've ever had that requirement before. I just seriously feel like I'm missing something, and it's bugging me. And as per usual, usually there's somebody at this stage going, you just need to do this. But actuation toggles, all of them are on. This is configured for HTP. I filled this tank for the appropriate propellants. So why on earth is the RCS just not working? Maybe I should just put this into orbit and see if it's just... Why don't we simulate this into orbit and just convince ourselves that that works? Just the RCS part. That it feels buggish, but okay, let's just simulate it into orbit. So we'll simulate this, we'll put it into orbit, circular orbit, yeah, 250 kilometers. Let's just simulate. Okay, here we are. Oh, it's in darkness. Here, let's time warp until it's daytime. I gotta watch my electricity though, just to make sure. Only got a couple of hours of electricity, but that should be enough to get there we go. Just so we can see it. All right, let's open up the RCS Smart ASS. And we will activate through the staging. There we go, that should... And if I simply put you on prograde, it works. I'm just not... I don't know... Just unsure as to why... Everything's there. And if I switch you to retrograde, there we go. So everything is cool. I'm just going to have to trust it. I just don't like that I'm not getting any numbers as far as RCS goes. You know what else I'm going to do? I'm just going to get in the settings because I'm always scrolling down and finding the McJeb button here. But you can get in the settings here and hide the menu button. There. Take that away. And now McJeb is always down here at the bottom like that. The reason why I was reluctant is because if I went back into the vehicle assembly building, it does put the tool right over all this other stuff, but I guess I can sort of work around. Okay, I'm just gonna trust it. Even though this is saying... I don't have to select the propellants. No. That's just for moving the center of mass around. That's just talking about the Araby engine. If I take that off, that's now a 0. Wow. And I don't think it's RCS build aid, because like I said, it worked with the other ship. There's something about this ship. Could it be where the what if I make this the control from here part? Oops, I'm pushing the wrong button. Nope. All right, I'll have to figure that out some other time. Boom, 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 boom. These do have to come on with this motor because that is our form. And again, let's think about this is that most challenging thing, is getting the rotation to work the way you want. I'm not sure if this is gonna work because I'm thinking of putting some sort of little cowling. I know what I'm gonna do. Let's change this. Change these to just those two guys, and then we'll grab these little fellas. And that's for... I bet you I can get away with just 2 of these. Well, let's do 4. But that's for the ullage part. And they'll all feed off the same thing. I doing? Engine configuration. They got to be configured for the HTP. Those guys all need to be staged with the motor. Beautiful. Okay, 670 meters per second is, and the budget was, I think, 650. So to be honest, this is pretty good. Thrust away to 0.86, which is perfectly adequate. Oh, I needed to worry about time. That's right. So let's make this the root one. It's got this batteries, the batteries in here have got to last long enough to get from our periapsis, which would be at 250 kilometers, up to our apoapsis of 3050. So I'm just going to work out, again, I got that on my spreadsheet. If I go to here, orbital period. If I have the perigee at 250 and this at 3050, the amount of time, it's pretty darn close to 2 hours for the period of the whole orbit, so it's going to be about 1 hour to get from perigee up to apogee. Cool beans. So I need the electricity to last for an hour. Obviously, that ain't going to cut it. So we'll open up our configuration here. Right now it's at 24 minutes and 48 seconds, so let's put in, let's try 400 kilojoules. Apply, resize to fit. And that is 1 hour and 43 minutes. I can probably get away with less. 350. Apply and resize to fit. And let's put this back at 350 and apply and preserve dimensions. I like nice solid numbers. That's an hour and 22 minutes. Be honest though, I'm just thinking it also may need to survive enough after it's released and getting to, oh no, it's not going to be too long to get to the burn because there's no target that you're aiming. You can burn towards, I'm thinking of the burn to get it up to 3050 kilometers. That burn can be done almost immediately after this thing is inserted into orbit. But maybe 400 is a better plan. Just in case, you know, has a little bit of time of hanging around. Now it's an hour and 34 minutes. That should be good. Put that back onto here. And, oh yeah, change the root part back to this. Okay, now, I'm thinking this might be okay. We'll give her a test for sure, but it has, oh wait, the staging isn't right. Oh my gosh, what happened to you, Mr. Staging? Okay, we'll put the AeroB on the bottom, along with the RCS. That goes there. And then the cluster of 11, which gets staged with that, and then the cluster of 3 at the very top. So this has 669 meters per second of DV down here on the bottom stage. It needs 650. And the upper stage, these two get added together, it's 2,730. It needs 2,700. I don't see what I might be doing wrong. So, here's what we're going to try and do. I'm going to give this a test. That if I can get this into, I'm going to put it into orbit, and then we're going to see if it can meet these orbital parameters that I'm requiring. So let's simulate. And again, let's close our notes here. Let's get rid of this, which is just in the way. Let's time warp until we have a little bit of sunshine. There we go. I just realized as well, I need to stage the RCS before I stage the AeroB engine, because the AeroB engine is going to need the ullage from those RCS blocks. So what I'm going to do is open up McJeb, There is somewhere under utilities, I think I'm going to need to tell it to use... Okay, there is an auto... Oh, no, I don't want you to auto-stage. That might have been something to do with what I was doing before. My problems I was having last might have to do with the fact I didn't have the auto-stage on. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Isn't there somewhere in here about using RCS to provide the ullage? Use RCS for ullage. Okay, that's already on. So that should be good. And I'm going to get my maneuver node executor. Maybe just the maneuver planner. I'm going to make the maneuver manually. So according to my contract, let's get out the contract. Just going to make sure we do all of this right. According to my contract, that one, I need to get... 3050 is what I'm shooting for. So all I'm going to do is actually just put a maneuver. Cannot add maneuver node. Well, what? What? Oh, I need to have a signal in order to add a maneuver node. Can I get McJeb to do it for me? Create a node. Oh, that must select a target for an interplanetary transfer. I'm not trying to do an interplanetary transfer. Oh my goodness. Look at all the options here. All I want to do is a freaking simple maneuver. Change the apoapsis to 3050. Create the node. What's it going to do for me? So it probably put that at periapsis. It sure did. So I don't care about that. But then what I want you to do, if I get out the editor... Ha! See, I can do this. It wasn't letting me do it manually because I didn't have a signal. That's what that was all about. But now... if I just bring the time backwards... Oh, I can probably do that here. I'm so much more used to the stock tools for this anyway. Bring the scale up a bit. There we go. Get the burn happening in like a few minutes. There we are. And execute that node. What's McJeb going to do for me? I said execute the node, but you're not pointing in the right direction, McJeb. So I'm going to assume... Oh, wait. Let's abort for a second. Let's push it a little bit further ahead again. Okay, back to here. Maneuver. Let's get that maneuver a little further in space. Okay, there we go. I got to stage that RCS, don't I? Oh, now that... I think I screwed this up. Maybe not. Execute node. There it goes. I didn't have the RCS. Unfortunately, in my thumbling, I did stage the Aerobee engine, but I'm hoping that that's going to be okay, that I didn't just screw it up, that McJeb is going to sit there, provide the necessary ullage, and that engine will engage anyway. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so this is a 650 meter per second burn, and there is 669 meters per second in the craft. Okay, we're getting a little time warping action happening here. I should keep an eye on my helium. It's used up partly. Oh, there it goes. It worked. Excellente. Very, very pleased with that. Alright. So that part worked. And I can do a little bit of time warping here. A little physics warping. Now, once this AeroB turns off, it cannot be reignited, so it is done. Now, I can use RCS to tweak things, but it's over 3,000 kilometers, and that's all that mattered for that. So that this now is done. So next thing, if I open up utilities, and I put in the auto staging. Okay. Stop auto staging at stage number 3. No, I want you to stop auto staging at stage number 0. Oh, shite. Okay. Oh, why? Why are you doing this? Why did you do that? Okay, forget it. I'm never gonna make that mistake again. Okay, so we just screwed that up. All right, let's restart the simulation. We'll try that again. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, again, we'll do some time warping. Get this to some sunshine. Try and do that first burn a little quicker now. Okay, we are going to do the maneuver planner. We want to change our apoapsis to 3050. Correctamundo. Create the node. Then we're going to use this maneuver tool. I got to go to map view to see that maneuver tool. And we're going to just bring the time back so that the burn's coming up in just a few minutes. That feels good to me. Okay. Back to here. We need to get the staging sorted here. So I'm going to stage once just to stage the RCS. There. And now we're going to say execute node. And there it goes. Now looking again at that utilities window, auto staging is turned off. And auto warp is on and all that kind of business. Okay, and again, it should have use RCS for ullage. It should be turned on. It is right there, so it should handle that part okay. There we go. Stage. Okay. All right, so I need to stage that AeroB before it was trying to do the whole thing just on RCS because the AeroB wasn't staged. I thought maybe McJeb would stage that for me. I guess I could turn on, that's because I have the auto stage turned off, of course, but I'm nervous to turn the auto stage back on given what just happened just previous to this. Okay. We will physics warp through some of this stuff. Alrighty, and again, just needs to get over 3,000. There we go. Okay, so the next step in all this is to create another node. So we're going to... We want to, again, push up our apoapsis, but we want to do this at... We want to do the burn at apoapsis. Doom, doom. Because I got a feeling if I say just increase my apoapsis to... What did I say in my notes? I said to 60,000 kilometers. I got a feeling if I did that right now... and said create that node... Yeah, it's doing the burn at periapsis. I don't want to do the burn at periapsis. I want it to do the burn at our current apoapsis out here. So let's take a look at the other one. Let's remove all nodes. What other options do we got here? Don't need to do a transfer. Eccentricity, inclination, longitude. Change the periapsis, change semi-major axis. Circularize. I suppose what I could do, if I do circularize, I'm sure it'll do the burn at apoapsis. I really would like that burn to be exactly right at apoapsis. A 2-impulse Hohmann transfer to target. No, we don't have any target. Let's try circularize. So create the node. Yep, that's cool. And then what we'll do is we'll just go to here. And I'll do this the old school way. I'm just pushing up that apoapsis until... What did I say? I keep forgetting what I wrote down. I should just keep my notes open. Here's the notes. 60,000 kilometers. Now, to be honest, it's going to be... Well, I'll do it to 60,000, but... it's going to overcook this because they're SRBs. Once the SRBs light, they're going to just keep firing. But that's okay. It can overcook this a little bit. There we go. That's pretty darn close. So... that burn is coming up in just less than an hour. Just what I was predicting. Okay. Let's take a look again at that utility stuff. I'm very nervous to turn on the auto staging. I think for obvious reasons. Shoot, I just did it! I didn't know you were gonna do it. I thought you were just gonna... Why? Why? I thought I could look at the details that were here. You are such an evil son of a bitch. That obviously just flat out can't be... Okay, we're gonna try this one more time. One more time. Hopefully just one more time. Okay, restart the simulation. That there. Time warp to daytime. Okay, create a maneuver to raise our apoapsis to 3050. Please create said node. Use the maneuver tool to bring that node nice and close. Okay, that's good. Back to here. Engage RCS and the Aerobee engine. Execute the node. There she goes. Kind of have this part down. I have my Ascent guidance up over here. That's clearly not doing me any good. And I am so staying away from that auto stage feature. Not going to touch it. We shall be doing all of our staging manually. Okay, so this time it really should do it pretty good. So I do have the AeroB is engaged, but it's going to apply some ullage and then it's going to fire up the AeroB. Nice. I love how it's just so minimal with the ullage, just like little, just to get, just to give it what it needs. I certainly wouldn't do that if it was manual. I'd be like pushing on that H key, but nope, that's all good. Okay, again, a little physics warp, get this over with, because this has not been the problem. Oh, wait, there's a schedule burn option. Sorry, I'm just noticing something in my maneuver planner. To schedule a burn at certain locations. So let's schedule a burn. Okay, that's all good. We have a good altitude for our apogee, but I'm just noticing, let's schedule a burn at our apoapsis. Beautiful. And for that burn, we want to change the apoapsis to 60,000. Create the node. Perfect. And there's that node in just about an hour. So everything is good on that front. I'm going to stay away from the auto staging. Again, the AeroB is done, so it has to be done with the with what's left. This is a 2,698 meter per second burn, and I have 2,729 meters per second in these two stages that are up here. So it's going to be a little bit too much. Now I'm also thinking, here we go, is if you recall from the last episode when I came to this same situation where I don't trust McJeb to do the staging correctly, I was staging it manually. I was waiting for McJeb to suddenly put the throttle up. But now I'm thinking, is there anything in the utilities, by the way, to just say ignore burnt out engines or anything like that? Pay attention to prevent unstable ignitions. I think I remember trying that before. Let's do that. Like, my brain says to turn on prevent unstable ignitions and to turn on the auto staging. But I think it goes without saying I don't want to turn on the auto staging. Now there is this auto stage once button, but I'm nervous to push that right now too. So I think I'm just going to leave it. So we'll see what McJeb does. But if I look here, right, it's 4 seconds on this top stage and then about 6 seconds on the cluster of 11. So 6 and 4 is 10. So if I start the burn, if I have to do it manually, I should be starting it 5 seconds before we actually get to the node. That's according to my brain and my thinking. We have lost connection, but that's only because we're not over a... that should fix itself. Let's just time warp till that fixes itself. I wanted to take a look at my electricity situation. There we go. We got our signal. We have 3 hours and 17 minutes worth of electricity, and it's only 49 minutes to the burn. Okay, so let's execute the next node. So McJeb's going to time warp out there. There we go. It's now about 10 minutes to the burn. It should reorient itself. There it goes. And getting itself set up. It should do now a little bit of time warping, but I'm seriously considering... Let's watch what it does. Let's see if it does what it's supposed to do. Boy, it really feels like it's pointed out, but it's right pointed at prograde stage. I did that, by the way. And we came short. Shoot. So I'm going to need a little bit more DV. Didn't quite finish off the burn. It came out short. See that? Interesting. 153.3 meters per second short. Very unpredictable. So I might have to put a little bit more DV into this stage if I'm going to get it to work. What was the contract requirement? To be in an eccentricity of at least 0.75. Yeah, my eccentricity is 0.69. So it needs to be a little bit more. So one of the things I did is I did take the fuel out of this stage. Maybe I should just not do that. All right. We'll give this another go. So let's get back to the vehicle assembly building. All right, so let's find those three. I think that's what I took the fuel out of, right? These guys are full. Indeed, but these are empty. Yes. Okay, I'll put that back. All right. Yeah, let's give this another go. Save this. And this time I'm going to simulate it in orbit, but not in the circular orbit. We'll go with a perigee of 250 and an apogee of 3050, and then that way we won't do the burn with the aerobee. We know that worked. That should be all I need to worry about. Yep, let's simulate that. Okay, and once again we'll get McJeb to make the burn. Let's stage this and or make the maneuver, I'm sorry. At our next apoapsis, go to this. I think that's all I need, right? Boom. So let's just check to make sure that that makes some sense. So as we come to apogee, where are we, by the way, right now? I gotta start deleting some of this extra crap that's around. Oh my goodness, we are way far away. Let's restart this sim. No. Let's use the Alt F. No. Okay, let's restart the simulation. I don't want to do a whole fricky orbit. Okay, so we'll restart the simulation. Sorry, that's my mistake. I want to revert back to the editor. Who am I kidding? It's always my mistake. Okay, we're going to simulate. Same orbital parameters, but we're going to change the mean anomaly. We're going to change it to pi, which is, let's just call that 3.2. And simulate. Okay, and the mean anomaly is where the position is, where the spacecraft is positioned from periapsis. And so pi is half a circle. 2 pi is a complete circle. I put 3.2, which is a little more than pi, so I'm a little bit past my apoapsis. But that's all cool because, oh, wait a second. No, I was better off where I was. Wait a minute. Create the node. Now it's... Oh my God. I was better where I was. Revert back to the editor. I tell you, I don't know how people put up with me. I seriously don't. Let's take that out. It was better where it was. Simulate. All right. And again, create that node. So that node is a little more than an hour away. Or a little less than an hour away. That's what I wanted. Why does it have to all be so hard? So we are going to, let's fix this staging. I don't want the aerobee involved, but I do need the RCS involved. Okay, let's execute the node. Now, actually, before I do that, this is pretty darn close to 6 seconds each for the 2 stages up here. So 12 seconds, so I want to stage when I'm 6 seconds from the node. So let's execute. We are out here in the dark. I'll try and position the craft. There, we'll do it like that. Like so. And again, it's going to use RCS to do the maneuvering. But I will be staging manually. So 6 seconds before we get to the node. That's when I'm going to fire that. Again, we need to get the eccentricity up to at least 0.75. Hopefully this one will do it. I hope people don't mind just a silhouette. Oh, we got some sun. Got some sun just in time. Okay, 6 seconds before the node, I am staging. 8, 7, go. Go. Okay, eccentricity is 0.77, so that should now meet the required orbital parameters. We will check our contract here. Let's close some of these other windows that we have going. Okay, that one. So it looks like to me, yeah, we are in the orbit that it wanted us. Why won't that just, there we go. We are in the orbit that it wants us to be in. It's now counting down. We just have to survive for 44 days, and we need to collect 75% of the magnetic data that is available. We have collected all the data that's available in low space, so we have to get ourselves up to high space, which is what the point of this contract was. There it is, going off into high space. How much of the magnetic data have I already collected? Because I think I already have some of it, because I've been sending probes out into high space for a little bit now. Magnetic scan. Because other probes can help along. Doesn't have to be just this fella. I have not been into high space with the magnetic probe yet. Or with the magnetic scan yet. I'm a little... Did I overlook it? I'm a little surprised. I gotta be honest. I'm a little bit surprised I've not done this yet. Okay. Might be sending out a second one of these, to be quite frank. But either way, that is a tomorrow problem. Or later on, whenever I get back to this. Let's revert back to the editor. We now have a payload that does seem to be working. So what I would like to do... I would like to mount this onto a rocket. And I also would like to kind of pretty it up a bit. I do want to do something with some sort of a skirt around the bottom, or maybe just not worry about it. I don't know. Let's see what it looks like once it's on the rocket. So this thing has a mass of 0.94 tons, 940 kilograms. And last episode, I pulled out this guy, did I not? Booster, yes. And I was fiddling around with making things. So this guy is capable of putting up 7.7 tons into low Earth orbit. So that's quite a bit of overkill. So what I think you know what I should do? I'm going to organize this a little better. Let's get into action groups here. I'm sure there are not action groups, I'm sorry, sub-assemblies. Let's delete some of these, because there's some here that I think are just not important. Yeah. And I don't even know what the Sergeant payload is. I got a service tower here. I got Solar Phase 1. That's old news. Solar Phase 1 payload. That's old news. A U-2000 sounding rocket. Oh my golly. Vanguard 1. What is Vanguard 1? Oh my god, that was an abandoned idea. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to just simply stick something on the top of this. And I'm going to store all my boosters, at least the ones I'm using, into subassembly. So this is 7.7 tons into LEO. So we're going to go here. Going to grab this, drag it to there. This is the Atlas 1B / Castor 1x6 Stentor booster. For some reason, some menu just popped up on me. And this can do 7.7, right? No, it's not going to do it. I think it says 7.7 tons into... Oh my gosh. That's an I. Okay, it looked like an L into LEO. All right, so we'll save that. So now this is just sitting here, and I like it because it actually has, I can see the description underneath it. Yeah, that's right. Okay, now let's bring up, I have also, so don't save this. Let's do this with my other rocket, without my other one. So I have the Atlas 1B. This is the Atlas 1B Stentor with 4 casters, with the 1x4 setup. What are you capable of putting into LEO? Now, I've yet to rig this to put a payload on top, but I think that's a minor problem. So let's stick something on the top. Oh, no. What I need to do is just take a tank. Just a conventional structure is fine. And we will fill this full of lead ballast. Tank UI. Lead ballast, add, update. Okay. Turn that off now, and we'll take a look at our Delta V stats. And according to my little notes, my budgeting notes, is LEO is 9,400 meters per second. And I know there are people that can do it more efficiently than that, but that's what I'm budgeting for myself. So, wait, what did I... How on earth does this say only 7,600 and... That's not correct. Oh, the staging's not right. Oh, yes. This is where... This needs to go with this. That's still not correct. Why on earth... Take this off for a sec. Oh, it's 10,000. I just got way too much weight on the top of it. I just put way too much lead. Too much lead. So we'll just bring down the length of this until it says 9,400. There we go, 9,405. And then I just got to look at the weight, which is 412. This is all this thing can do is 412 kilograms? How come this is so crappy? Just the difference of 2 more casters make that much difference? That doesn't feel right. Is that just me? Is that just me? Oh, I feel like checking that. Okay, so if I take this off, this is definitely this is just 412 kilograms. I don't know. Okay, maybe I was wrong with the first one. So that's 412 kilograms I can put into LEO, right? 412? We'll call it 410. Okay, so let's open up this. I definitely want to check the next one. So this is the one I had up there previously. So this is the Atlas. Frickety frack. Atlas. Atlas. There we go. I can do it. 1B / Castor. 1x4 / Stentor. Booster. I am having the worst time typing today. 410 kilograms, which can't even do the one that I was just looking at. 410 kilograms into LEO. Save. Okay. And that was right? 410. That's this little poundy pound right here. 410. Okay. And what I'm going to do is going to throw that away. Let's get the 1x6 and let's just test this again. So again, 9,400 is the key. I must have just read something really wrong last time. There's no way then that the 7, that's right. So length. That's got me discouraged now. I got to go back over the video evidence and see how I was misreading these numbers. Turn down the utilization just a little bit. Oh, up the utilization. Okay. There we go. 9410. And this is 493 kilograms into LEO. Okay. All right, things have changed. Oh boy, I wonder I was looking at like stock numbers or something like that for getting into orbit. 3,600 meters per second. I don't know what I was looking at, but I definitely need to go look at that old video. But definitely that's 7.7 tons. I should have realized that was way too optimistic. It's 493 kilograms into LEO. So we're going to just grab this, drop it onto here. What did I say? I'm so bad. 493, so we'll call it 490. This one. Yes. Wait. Do you wish to overwrite this subassembly? Yes. Oh, do I need to edit? Okay, let's just do it all over again. So delete this. I thought I would have the option to overwrite it, but like to overwrite the description, but I didn't. So this is the Atlas 1B/caster 1x6 Stentor. And this is 490 kilograms into LEO. Save. That makes more sense. Oh, that's too bad. Wait, just no, delete that. I was about to throw it into the subassemblies again. Delete this little guy. So I'm thinking now I don't have the rocket to lift this thing. Like, that looks like the top end of what I'm capable of doing. Because if I go back to the Explorer 10, this thing seemed to have worked like a charm. However, it is 941 kilograms. I'm going to need my Atlas 2 for that. And let's take a look at my Atlas 2. Maybe it's capable of it. So I'm going to have to do some thinkings. Atlas 2. What can it lift? I hope I'm not too pessimistic about all this kind of stuff. Okay, let's put a... so this one's still in the works. It's still several months away. But maybe this is capable of doing more for me. So again, we're going to fill this. Tank UI. Fill this with lead ballast. Update. Okay, take the tank out. Okay, and just start adding weight to this. So length. Yep, okay, this is optimistic. I'm at about, oh wow, let's just make it diameter wider too. Oh my gosh, 9,400 is what I'm shooting for. Oh my, giddy up. This is going to be redonkulous. No, I'm not forgetting anything. Wow. Let's keep going. Length. I'm hoping I'm not. This isn't just being mean to me. This can't be right. This thing has a weight now of what? 6 tons. Okay. Boy, I wish I had a rocket in between. Okay, why is the delta V going up now? That makes no sense. I started increasing the diameter and increasing the mass, and the delta V's. Now the delta V is going down as I bring the diameter down. Let's just increase the length. Not sure how much I trust this. Okay, that's making more sense. Oh my gosh, is it really like, just look at the tank UI. I just feel like something's wrong in my thinking. Remove all tanks, tank UI, lead ballast, update. Okay, that's 9427. I mean, we're closing in on it, but like, according to, maybe I should look up what the real rocket that this is sort of like, not completely like. There, that's more in kind of the ballpark I'm looking at. I'm looking at 25 tons. 25 tons that this thing could push into orbit. Oh my gosh. I just pushed it right into the ground. 25 wait a minute, what did I say? Control Shift Z? There it is. I don't know. Something's not right. Now it's 3.5 tons and it's saying 9,400. Something wasn't right. Maybe I've had a similar thing happening to me before. So that was just seeming weird. Take it off, put it back on. So all I did was Control Z and then uncontrolled Z. Made this the root part? Does that make a difference? Okay. Now this is making a little more sense. I have to make it the root part to make this make sense? Maybe that's the problem I had last time. Okay, let's start this all over again. So make the avionics the root part. Yeah, let's start all over. Open, don't save this. The Gamma 8. So I don't think it's calculating it right. Should have realized that. There we go. I don't think it was calculating it right unless the tank is the root part. So I do this, which is probably the mistake I made last time. Make that the root part. Now it's saying, goodness sakes, I don't understand. tank UI. This all seems so simple. You know, there is a mod called just utility weights where you just add a weight, but honestly, oh, I don't want to tool the tank, silly. I would have thought this would just be a simple little thing to do. Update. Just to put a lead ballast, just a tank of lead ballast. So this is 5 tons of lead ballast on here. And if I take that off, the delta V just changes by 100 meters per second, which honestly does not feel right. Now, if I make this the root part, it now says 400 and something meters per second, but that doesn't, 4,000, that doesn't feel right either. Okay, put it, maybe it needs to have a decoupler in there, so you're actually simulating a payload or something. Oh no, but there's a decoupler built into this. Wait, wait a minute. What? That staging's in a funny spot. This staging, that is what's screwing up. This staging of the payload is not in a sensible spot. That is what's going on here. I can't remember this rocket. What are these things? I got some SRBs here. Oh, spin. What are the spin motors for? I'm totally losing track of. Oh, that's for decoupling. Okay. That makes sense. So that's for pushing away the skirt. The staging was messed up. That's what was going on. So it was actually dumping this really early. Okay, now this should make some sense. Oh my gosh, that was like so complicated. Length. There we go. Now we're getting some sensible numbers. Oh my gosh. There we go. There's 9408. And there is... It was all in the staging. All in the staging. And we have 7.4 tons. Right? No, we have 85 tons. Just about. 85. I'm going to call that 84.9 tons. So that makes some sense. It was all because the staging was screwed up. So this thing is capable of putting up almost 85 tons. Can I get it to 85 just to have a nicer number? I'm still under... Yeah, I'm going to call it 85 tons. Okay, so that makes so much more sense. Oh my. Do that. Yeah, making it the root part totally messes it up. And now I'm going to go to here. This is the Atlas. The Atlas 2/Gamma 8 booster. And 85 tons. 85 tons into LEO. Save. All right. So, dang. Let's get back to my... Let's go new. Oh, I guess this is just hanging out here. Okay, let's open up again my Explorer 10. Let's open up also, I want to get rid of that booster that I just threw into an action group because it's just going to confuse me that it's there and it says that it has so much tonnage. It was the Atlas 1B, yada yada, this one. I want to delete you. So according to my calculations, this is not going to cut it. Where's the... Is this all sensible? I think it is. And then staging, no, this is not sensible at all. Why is staging so hard? Why? And okay, so we got the two engines there, and then we release those at the same time. These should all be... Nope. What is this? Oh, those are tower umbilicals. Okay, that all makes sense. So it looks, let's go tower umbilicals. Then it's releasing those. That makes sense. Where are these RCS blocks? They are up at the top. They belong way up at the top. Let's put you in their own stage. They belong wherever that Araby is, but let's get that sorted. So this... And what are these ones? Where are those ones? They're there. Oh yeah, there are that many. That's correct. That is the... Okay, that belongs up there. Get rid of you. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. That does not. Then the cluster of 11. Wow. There we go. That goes there. That goes there. So that's the Araby stage. That is the cluster of 11. That is the cluster of 3. And according to this, it says a total delta V of 12,375. Let's bring out my notes where I had this budget worked out. Total budget is 12,750. It is a little short, and what's problem is the upper stage is a little bit high. It's coming short on the getting to low orbit bit, which is, again, this whole business. Now, maybe 2 more casters, or maybe a better intermediate stage. Maybe changing the sustainer stage will be something that's worth doing. What if, because I already have it tooled, let's save this. Let's bring out my Atlas 2. Oh, but the gamma's not been, well, it can be, what if, oh my God, I cannot. I'm just thinking of where to plunk this. Okay, let's throw this here. Save that. Bring out the Atlas 2 this way. Throw this away. But keep that. Throw that into an action group. At the root part. This is the Gamma 8. Maybe replace the Stentor with the Gamma 8. Sort of have a hybrid rocket. Might be able to build that sooner. So save that. I do have other engines, so maybe it's just a thing to... This might be total overkill, but if I open up now my Explorer 10, let's get rid of the notes. They're confusing the situation here. And we open this up, take this off, keep that stage, lose this stage, bring in the Gamma 8 stage, and then bring in that stage. Now, obviously, some things are going to have to be tweaked, but I'm just going to take a look in terms of sizing and all that kind of stuff. But the question now is, well, first of all, is the staging at all sensible? Do I have the delta V, and do I have the launch thrust? I do have the launch thrust. That might actually kind of work. Okay, so that's making sense. That's making sense. That's making sense. That's making sense. Then we stage that, stage that. We need to put in the Gamma 8 motor, which is this one. Yep. Needs to go here. Oh my golly. Oh, the Gamma 8 doesn't need RCS. It's I'm pretty sure it's yeah. And then up here we got the little arrow bee. Up here we have, yep. So that's the Gamma 8 stage. So this needs to go here. Then the 11 and then the 3. Okay. So, although nothing really fits together, but that can be adjusted. The Gamma 8 is huge, but what does that do? That gives me a total delta V now of 1329. More importantly, do I have what it takes to get this thing into orbit? It probably will not be able to be built, though, in my Atlas. No. This is the, it's a little overweight, too. Not by much. Not by much. It's just a little bit. Maybe I can scale this down a little bit. Or maybe I have a better choice for this sustainer engine than the Gamma 8. But first of all, let's see. Let's see if I have the DV. So, the Aerobee is in stage 2. So from stage 3, 4, and 5, they best add up to at least 9,400 meters per second. So I'm just going to do this with a calculator. 708 with the casters. 2989 with the Atlas 1B. And 5,731 on the Gamma 8. Gets me just enough. Just enough. You know, if I look at my TWRs too, you can see that they're not not brilliant up here, but maybe they don't need to be. Well, perhaps we can make this work. So this tank here, I'm thinking losing the entire fairing, make this bigger, and then put in one of these just interstage type nodes. So this has a diameter of, on the bottom, 1.965. So if we increase the diameter of these avionics, just very quickly look at the GUI. I have 100 units of electric charge. I want to keep that the same. So I'm sorry, I've already forgotten, of course. 1.965. So I want the diameter of that to be 1.965. Okay. Let's reconfigure the avionics a little bit. Da-da-da-da. It's on the best one, 100 kilojoules. Okay, resize to fit. And that's still 100 kilojoules. No, whoa. Controllable mass is 100. The EC is redunculous. Oh, what was the... let's put in 400. Okay, now I need to change that. This needs to be gone. This needs to be one of these. That feels about right. Bring down the vertical scale a little bit. That feels about right. That. Now I need to fix this part. But that is just the nose, not the texture, the nose type. Now you can actually, I was going through and doing this, but one of the things is all the menus jump around. You can select the nose just here. That might be the better way to do this. So I am on the nose 2 by 1 long. But I'd like it to be, there's a 3 by 2 long. Oh, look at that. Right off the bat, that ain't shabby. Frick, I don't think I need to change anything. And then when I take a look at the top, I could put this all in a fairing. But I'm honestly rather, well, you know what, it is an awkward shape. Let's put a fairing around it. Let's put a fairing around it. Like that. We can color it all later. Okay. I'm kind of inclined to at least see what this does for me. I mean, it might be... It may not do much of anything. Oops, Control Z that. Let's just select all this. Oh, I'm on the wrong. There we go. Bring that down. But it may just work. Now, this is going to take a lot of time to integrate. What about the weight? The weight is a little much for this launch pad. Oh, heck. Let's give it a go. So let's simulate. We'll do this from, we're going to do it not from orbit. We're going to do the whole thing and see if we can do this. I'm going to go about 12 hours into the future. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, this whole thing is rather begging the question. I might be better off just waiting for my next rocket, my Atlas II. But this might be a nice intermediate size between them. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to see what it does anyway. We're going to see what she does. Oh, wait. Yeah, my MacJib things are down here now. Ascent guidance. Okay, so Ascent stuff. What do we got to do? We're going to go for a 250 by 250 kilometer orbit. We are going through the current inclination. We are going to go look down here. All this stuff all feels pretty good. I think so. I'm going to take the auto warp off. The stages 0, 1, and 2 are most certainly unguided, but I want the last stage. Oh, this staging's not right. I can see that. What is this motor? That is... What is that? That is that. Okay, that's there. Okay, that just needs to go there. That's it. Okay. I want the last stage to be stage 3. And stage 3 should be an early cutoff. That should be it. Drop solids early is off, wherever that is hiding. It's over there. Okay, what if I engage you? According to MacJeb, it can do it. So let's do it. Well, that didn't work well. Okay, let's revert back to the editor. All right, let's fix some staging up. So this needs to go here. Also, those fairings were clearly in the wrong spot. They are way at the... Why would you put them down there? So I'm thinking I might just stage the fairings. Whew. I can get MacJeb to stage the fairings at the appropriate time when we get to an appropriate altitude. I would think so. Okay, let's try that. Simulate. Go. All right, so I thought there was something about fairings in here. Co-spin up. That's all good. That's all good. Drop solids early's off. Support hot staging. Yeah, we definitely need to support hot staging. Put that on. I could have sworn somewhere I saw something talking about fairings. Just wanna, but it never really applied to me before. Oh, here, stage fairings when. And I'm going to assume, I don't even see a toggle to turn that off. So I'm going to assume it's going to take care of that for me. I guess we'll find out. Okay, let's engage you again. And go. All right. There she goes. And hopefully you shot. Whoa, we are out of control. Where are we going? Where are you going? It's not out of control. It's just doing something mighty bizarre. Where on earth are you going? I set the inclination to 28 degrees. It's going due south. Why on earth? It's McJeb doing this. Why on earth are you going due south? Not quite due south, but pretty due south. Like, where is it going? Oh, it's trying to match. I got something. Okay, I got something set as a target, and it's trying to match. Okay. It's, what is it trying to match? No, the yellow orbit's what it's going for. It's going for a specific longitude of the ascending node. That's what it's doing. It's doing this hook thing. It's getting to a specific plane, and then it's gonna do. Oh my gosh, did I have something selected to go to a particular? That was wild. Sorry, let's just take a look. Do I have like a specific longitude of the ascending node or something like that selected? Maybe it's under. No. Okay, we're gonna restart, obviously. It looks to me like it's aiming for a very specific longitude of the ascending node. Oh, launch to land 0. No, I don't want to launch, like, I've never worried about that before. Let's reset. Okay, current. Like, was it trying to go to a specific launch? No. Abort? Why was it doing that hook step? Why? Why? All you should do is go east. That's it. Is there something in the utilities? Rendezvous info? Do I have something selected as a target? I do not. Don't drop solids early. Oh, now I'm all over this. Okay, these are all gone to some defaults because I pushed that. Auto staging, yeah. You're going up to last stage is stage 3. Let's open up just really quick the utilities. Is there anything in here saying nope? Rendezvous stuff? So that's the only thing I think about, that it was just going for a very specific. No. All right, let's just engage this, and I did press the reset button in between. we go. Up, 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 up she goes. And again, heading south. Wow. You just have a mind of your own, don't you? You just want to do your own thing. So I got to figure out why. That's what I got to do. Why? The amazing thing is it says it's going to do it. So maybe I should just let it do it. But somewhere, like I'll show this again here. Let's take off all the other detritus here. But it is going for this very specific orbit. Right now it's sort of adjusted itself a little bit. So a little bit, but is it in the plane of the moon? Is that what it's doing? Nope, definitely not. Very weird. It's sort of settled itself out, but it definitely did this kind of little bit of a hook thing. But I gotta figure out why it's doing that. And I could be completely wrong that it's trying to go for a specific plane. I mean, it always predicts. It's always telling you what orbit it's trying to go for, but it feels a little weird. Alright, we are coming to the end of the Atlas stage. Got about 10 seconds left on that, and then we're going to be on to the mighty brand new Gamma 8, which really has yet to be flown outside of simulation. There we go. A little bit of a sideways thing again. I am pretty convinced that it's because the two motors on the Atlas go... they're a little bit asymmetric when they flame out. Now, what's super duper nice about this is that these... Ah! McJeb did that. That's perfect. Okay. These are gimbaled, so no more RCS on this stage or anything like that. We have attitude control just with those motors. I do like the 8 in that cross, though. It does look really, really good. Now, it's predicting it's going to get itself into orbit with about 365 meters per second left to spare, which is great. So I may have something that's going to work for me. But the question then becomes... what do I do? Do I upgrade? Do I build this thing? Do I wait for the other Atlas to come out? Will this serve as a nice intermediate rocket between the two? It has the exact same sustainer stage as the Atlas II that's coming. Also, how long is it going to take me to build this bloody thing? I don't know. So many unanswered questions, but what we're going to do is we're going to get this thing hopefully into orbit. Oh yeah, it's getting close to 400 meters per second of predicted DV left. Okay, we'll take this off. We'll take this off. We are going to need to get ready to do some orbital maneuvering once we deploy our payload. I also want to make the payload a little nicer. I've done nothing to try and clean that up. Okay, we'll take that off. I'm going to do all this staging here manually. All right, it's done. We are in a 250 by close enough 245 orbit. The stage is now pretty much completed its job. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stage and deploy our payload here. There we go. Should be able to give a little bit of poofs just to get away. Nicey nice. Awesome source. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is get into my maneuver planner. So let's get into the maneuver planner. And we're going to set up for a fixed time from now, right? After a fixed time. So let's give ourselves 3 seconds. That's the default. That's bonkers. Let's change this to 360 seconds, so 6 minutes. And I want to put that at, oh my gosh, I've forgotten. What was the plan? 3050. So do a burn in 360 seconds. So let's create the node. Does that all make sense? I think it does. That burn's coming up. Oh, okay, it didn't do this. Lead time. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I see what I did wrong. Make this 6 minutes. Probably 6M. Probably like that. Let's create another node. Let's take this lead time out. Just realized that probably shouldn't be there. Let's remove the node. Okay, create the node here. Perfect. That's what I want. Okay, and so that should give me a predicted apogee of 3050. Okay, good beans. Okay, so we will now execute said node. There we go. It's getting itself oriented. Yeah, the rest of this is just the same as what we just saw. I just want to do it again and make sure everything is ducky-dory, as they say. Or at least as I say. Oh, I turned the auto warp off. I can put the auto warp back on. Not auto stage. Oh, maybe it wasn't under utilities. Nope. Okay. Was it under the actual planner? Auto warp. Oink. There we go. Off we go. That's working super happily. I can again time warp through some of this. I can keep an... Oh, I got my orbital stats up here. Yeah, I definitely want to clean this up a little bit in here. This looks harsh. And do some colorings or something. Alright, so that is now the appropriate... Yeah, I got that up to where I need it to be. So now we're going to go back to our planner here. We're going to... remove all nodes. I don't think there are nodes to remove. We're going to, not after a fixed time, sorry, we're going to do a burn at our next apoapsis. And we're going to raise our apoapsis to 60,000 kilometers. Create that node. Lovely. Okay. We'll leave that there for now. I should bring up my contract too. And then that way we can keep an eye on our relevant orbital data to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. Okay, otherwise, let's execute this node. So, execute node. Off we go. Oh, that's the old batteries, right? These guys are fine. Better be. Yeah, this one's fine. It's battery warnings on the previous stage. That's all that was about. think this is very, very skimpy on the propellants for the for RCS, so I can take out a lot of propellant out of this thing. And again, we are 100% in the dark. And again, this Airby will not relight, so I'm going to do it manually. I will be staging manually. Okay, here it goes. And 6 seconds before we get to the node. So it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And the next one. And what we're looking at over here is, do we get our eccentricity? We do. We got our minimum eccentricity of 0.75. We're in the orbit. If it stayed in this orbit, it's going to be absolutely fine. Let's time warp until we're in the sunshine. There it is. So this guy did its job. I got a rocket that's going to work. It's going to be building the thing. I got to decide exactly what it is that I'm going to be doing with it. But I think that's going to have to be for the next episode. Don't forget as well, I still got my lunar impactor only 3 days away. I've been fiddling with this in the meantime, just to have something else that would come in after that. But, I'm coming to the point where I'm going to have to do that mission too. But, you know, all of that is going to have to be for the next episode. So I'm going to thank you for watching and hope to see you again next time.